Three cases, correct?
I think there's
The cap of 12 on 2, Your Honor.
Three cases, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure I didn't
Yes, sir.
miss it.
you're gonna
File here. And
No, I'm gonna give this to you now. I'll print one out. And just have a seat over there, sorry.
He's gonna see you. Then he's gonna come back or something.
It's a cap of 12 on 23 DCCR 0090 and also 20-35395.
three cases are called 20-34975. And this is an indictment for the second degree felony of aggravated assault.
That's a dismissal, Your Honor.
Is that gonna be
in consideration for, yes, the defendant pleading guilty.
Okay.
Information.
Twenty 35395 and 23 CR 90.
Yes, sir.
The state of Texas versus Lejeune Scott. And the defendant is charged with unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon in each of these cases. He pleaded guilty to paragraphs 1 and 2. This is a third degree felony, correct, everybody?
It's, well, Your Honor,
Well,
it's
it's got
actually,
the cap of 12 years.
yeah, we're going with the first 2 paragraphs and be second. He's actually a habitual offender, but we've agreed on that cap
Yeah,
of 12.
okay.
And that's what.
Paragraphs 1 and 2. He's pleaded guilty to 1, which constitutes a third degree felony, which states on or about May 28th, 2020 in 35395 and on or about November 29th, 2022 in Jefferson County, Texas. The defendant, after being convicted of a controlled substance possession conviction out of the 252nd District Court of Jefferson County, Texas Felony Court on July 18th, 2013, it is alleged that he illegally possessed a firearm on those 2 occasions. And then paragraph 2 alleges a prior 2012 conviction of illegal possession of a controlled substance. So this is in third degree felony is enhanced to a second degree felony punishment. And you were looking at no less than 2 nor more than 20 years confinement in prison. Is that correct, everybody?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Burbank?
Yes, Your Honor. The only thing is, I believe the 2013 case, it was out of Hardin County instead of Jefferson.
That's it, the 252nd District Court in this paragraph. What
Yeah.
do y'all say?
And the, I don't know, right? It might be a typo. What do you have?
This decision on May 28th. I don't have a May 28th disposition on any of these.
That was out of Jefferson County, actually. There's the.
Now, there was a, what was the charge up in,
The manufacturer delivery of controlled substance. Yes, see, this says disposed of on December 17th. Of 2014, and he received 3 years in prison. But this says he was convicted on July 18th, 2013 out of the 252nd and cause number 12-14774. But I don't see it in the adult history, that disposition date on any of this. Hold on, July 18th, 2013. Yeah, it is. It is.
12-147.
Yeah, where it's circled. And so in each of these cases, the defendant had pleaded guilty to the third degree felony and true to the enhancement prior conviction, March 19th, 2012, out of the 252nd District Court of Jefferson County for illegal possession of a controlled substance. So, here, is this your send to attorney? Who's that yours, Dan?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, that was my copies that we asked for it before. February.
All right, and a pre-sentence report had been prepared. Have the parties had an opportunity to review it? Are there any corrections or changes to it, state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Defense,
Not from defense.
all of them. Again, the agreement is a cap of 12 years in prison. So he's looking at no less than 2, no more than 12 years confinement in prison. He could be placed on deferred or unadjudicated probation. As well, he could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison, and then that could be suspended, and he could be placed on regular probation. Those are 3 options, I believe, and the only 3. State, you want to go first?
Yes, Your Honor. The state, in this case, believes that 12 years is what's warranted in this case. The defendant is a habitual offender. He's been given a break here. He's committed 2 different felon in possession of firearms. He's got an extensive criminal history. Got a lot of prior convictions there. And again, in the report here, it says that probation does not think he'd be a good candidate for the probation, being placed on probation. I don't think he's completed any of his probation when he'd ever been placed on it prior to this. He's always been revoked on it. So again, we think based on those factors, and the defendant had actually a 3rd case that's being dismissed in consideration for that, we believe that 12 years is definitely warranted in this case.
And defense.
Your Honor, you could go back, and it did start in 2003, 6. As a juvenile, he had approximately 11 misdemeanors, with the last one being in 2020, which is probably going to be dismissed. I think we had an agreement on that, but that's pending. But the last time before that was 2012. During his adult life, he has gone to prison several times, 4 times, with sentences of 4 years, 2 years, 4 years, some state jails for 2 years. But there is these offenses started or was one of them in 2020, the other one in 2022. Since that time, Judge, if you go to page 4 of the pre-sentence report, he's had a child, a new one, which I think has turned his life around a little bit because of some responsibility that wasn't there before. He is 33 years old, and I would hope that he's getting to an age where all this foolishness would be at an end. It appears it is since 2022, 3 years that he hasn't. And since he's been, after this last time of arrest, he's completed the LIT Trucking Academy and is now full-time in reference to rentals. As if he got another job on January 8th of this year, so that he can afford to support his family. So he has a full-time job. During that other time, though, prior to going to LIT, he was at Mount Everest Trucking and then Apache for work. We're asking that he gets deferred probation, that the full range of punishment would be at your disposal, which would be 20 years, which is substantially more than what he received in the past, which I believe is at the most was 4 years. We would ask that he be put on the 0 tolerance risk caseload that he reports, that also that he would also enter the moral recognition therapy classes. It appears to me, and of course I'm a defense attorney and have to argue for my client, that during my representation of him, there is a change or was a change in reference to him and the last child that he's now taking responsibility for. He has a 6-year-old that he takes responsibility for, but the new one actually kind of brought him around a little bit and discussed that language. He is asking, and he knows that he has a long history. In 12 years, he may be out for a year or so of this offense, but I think that based on his history, but what he has been doing since the last arrest, that if you kept control of him for a period of 10 years, and he had 20 years over his head, and on a short leash, we may do something. His track record doesn't show that, but since over the last 3 years, he has been trying to get it together. So we would ask for 10 years.
And Your Honor, state would just note that in defendant's version of events in the pre-sentence investigation report, he advised that he didn't remember the offense that was and that he's pleaded guilty to, and cause number 235395, which the state and believes he's not taking responsibility, saying that he doesn't remember the offense which he's pleaded guilty to.
The 2020 case.
Yeah, that's the most recent one. It's 35395, you said?
The
35395. Yeah.
That is not, that's the older one.
That's the 2000, so that's
It's a 2020 case.
that's 5 years. Yeah, they're all on.
I'm glad you would say that.
Yeah, sure.
You're a wise man.
We always hope that a defendant turn the corner and stop this stuff, Your Honor. There may not be
There's enough highlighter.
That's what I was going to say. Is there enough highlighter on that? Good. But if you look at the last date,
You know what we have here? Is stand up yourself.
I would even throw out the option, Your Honor, that you would change the plea to maybe even habitual if the court would give him deferred probation, which would then say that if he screwed up, it was a minimum of 25 instead of the 20. Yeah.
Anything you would like to say, sir?
You know, I know like what it looks like, my history and whatnot, but
What do you think it looks like?
pretty shit looks pretty bad. But I have like been changing my life like completely. Like I even ran into a lady who used to work in the school district like last weekend at church. And she was like, yeah, I know you changed. I see it in you. And that's what like happens to me when I bump into people lately. They're like, yeah, you changed a lot. And that's really honestly the truth. Like I've changed a whole lot, Your Honor. Like I take care.
When did the change occur?
Like over the past 3 years, but it's more and more as each day goes by, Your Honor. Like I work, I get off of work, I get my 1-year-old, go home, take a nap like an hour, 2 hours. Then I gotta get up, bring my 6-year-old to school. After that, go back home, take care of my 1-year-old till she falls asleep. I go to sleep. 3:30, it's time to go back.
How
to
old are
work.
your children?
I have a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old. My 1-year-old about to be 2, and my 6-year-old about to be 7.
In Your Honor, I've been receiving phone calls from Miss Nelson, who is the mother of the complainant in 34975. And they have a child together, and the Miss Nelson is cold and advised that the defendant, they've been having child issues as far as the custody, and the defendant has threatened that complainant, threatened to harm that complainant. She wasn't available today. She had a doctor's appointment, but I did. She was able to speak with her.
Well,
Can I speak on this, Your Honor? Can I speak on it,
yeah,
please?
you can, but your lawyer didn't have a chance to respond to this in all fairness, and I'm not going to consider that. I'm not going to consider it.
I was just gonna tell you like the situation what happened recently with her.
No, but it's a debate that we're just not going to have. I'm not going to consider what was just said because the people aren't here to air this thing out. And what he's saying to Mr. Boyd didn't see that. It's hearsay
Yes, sir.
from somebody else.
Okay.
And then you really don't have a fair chance. Your attorney doesn't have a fair chance to question Mr.
Yes, sir.
Boyd about it. But
Yes, sir.
but I'm not going to consider that. I just think that is throwing gas on a fire that's unnecessary. So there is enough that is wrapped up around these two events that the court is going to use, but I will still listen to whatever you want to add.
But just about that situation, it was, I had my child
Which situation?
with Mr. Boyd. was just
Oh,
talking.
I'm not even considering that.
Oh,
Is there anything about it? You can talk about it if you want, but I'm not going to consider it.
You're not gonna see it.
But what about the cases that are before me, these two, and then what's in the pre-sentence report? Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, but like I said, Your Honor, my life now is strictly revolves around my kids, take care of my house. And that's basically all I do. Work, take care of my kids, work, take care of my kids. Do things around the house,
You have a full-time job?
Yes, sir.
How long have you had a full-time job?
I've had a full-time job like over the past 2.5, maybe 3. But my job right now, I would go to work. I leave my house at 3 o'clock. I try to clock in for 3:45. I gotta go I don't know if you consider it either than a report, but I try to clock in for 3:45. And we get off at 3:30, sometimes 4 in the morning. It's not a little long. It just depends on how long the job lasts that particular day.
I can appreciate that. My first job when I was 16 was at 3 a.m. on Saturday and Sundays.
But during the time when I was working for Mount Everest, while I was going to court, I was state to state, Mount Everest. Once I got my CDLs, once I finished the truck driving academy, got my CDLs, I was going state to state, everywhere, still coming to court on time and all that. I'm just trying to do better.
Where did you drive? What states did you drive?
I drove. All right, I'm gonna say everything East Coast and North and Texas. I wasn't really, on the West Coast.
Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Now here's what the court is going to point out that the court believes are the important aspects of this. You were charged in these two cases for similarly unlawfully possessing a firearm after being a felon. And your criminal history, and I'm not counting the juvenile court history, but how many misdemeanor convictions, not Class C misdemeanors, speeding tickets or anything like that, but a Class B and above? How many misdemeanor convictions do you have, sir? You would know. It's your life. No one would know better.
11, 10, 11.
You don't even know, do you? Exactly.
Not exactly, Your Honor, but
Okay, how many felony convictions do you have? Felonies. Everybody would know that. How many? How many? It's your life. Say that again.
4.
7. How can you be so wrong about something intimately important to you like that? And one of them in 2 of them, one in 2012 and one in 2018, those are 2 unlawful possessions of a firearm. The same kind of crime that you're charged with twice here committing. You knew that kind of behavior had responsibilities to it and accountability to it and seriousness. But yet you did it anyway. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 convictions, felony convictions of drug-related offenses. Let me read to you just one short, small portion of this most recent case in 2022 that you're here for. The officers stopped you, observed a black electronic scale in the driver's floorboard in plain view. Noticed it had green residue, believed from their training and knowledge and experience it was marijuana. So they searched the vehicle and located the Glock firearm under the driver's seat. The problem is here, sir, with 7 misdemeanors and 7 felonies, 9 misdemeanors and 7 felonies. That's 16 criminal cases, not counting your juvenile history. They include the same types of offenses and circumstances that you just were arrested for: drugs and guns. And you're still doing it after all this time. Here's the other problem that really I'm not aggravated, but it astounds me. You want to stand behind your 6-year-old. You want me to show favor to you because you have a 6-year-old at home. You committed 2 serious felony offenses while that child has been in your home. You didn't think much about what was going to happen to them if you went to prison when you committed these 2 crimes, but they were yet your child. You had a responsibility. They weren't important, but today they are. They're not going to be used as a shield to prevent you from being held responsible once again for the same type of behavior that you have been 16 times found guilty of felony. I wish you would have learned a lesson 3 years ago, the last time you were convicted in 2018. I wish you would have realized that there are more important things in life than your thrill of being a drug dealer and using guns. And you didn't seem to learn that. And you have children now, and you want to use them now, which is terrible. Well, I feel sorry for them. It's not that hard to make the right choice. And it's certainly, you can't say that you're ignorant to what is right and what is wrong, and what is wrong has consequences. 16 prior convictions, and you're doing the same 2 things again: drugs and guns. If nothing further, I'm going to find you pleaded guilty voluntarily. In each of these cases, in 235395 and 290, these 3rd-degree felonies that have been enhanced to 2nd-degree felonies. In each of these cases, you were mentally competent to enter your guilty pleas in paragraph 1 in each case, and true to paragraph 2 of the prior conviction in 2012. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea in each of these cases to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt from State's Exhibit 1 admitted. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in each of these cases. I am following these agreements. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 12 years. These sentences shall run together. You will be given credit for all time you have served in accordance with each of these cases. Do you understand what has happened today in each of these cases, sir? You were taken into custody. That is all. Here, thank you.